Genshin Impact ruined conventions. Yeah, I think that the entire idea of it is just ridiculous. Of course, Genshin Impact did not ruin conventions, but at the same time, I can see people that aren't fans of it being annoyed that so many other people are. All right, let's take a look at it.
Yo, this is BenchGamer here. So recently there has been a bit of discussion on Twitter about the dominance of Genshin Impact merchandise in artist alleys. And if you don't know what artist alleys are, they're basically like booths that independent artists can rent out in conventions, and then they can just display all their merchandise and sell them. And they tend to be...
Yeah, there's always been stuff like this, right? I mean, I'll give you all an example, in case anybody's never been to a convention before.
Yo, what up, boys? Ape Gang, we're here doing godlike stuff. Oh, hell yeah.
Yo, what's up, boys? How's everybody doing? Ape Gang, baby.
Ape fucking Gang, dude. Who is the streamer? Doc at PUBG.
All right. Let me see if I can find a part of it. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I want to get more. That's actually like the main goal of today's stream.
It's Eli and there's S-Fan.
Can we avoid that?
It's anti-content.
Yeah. This is the first anti-content stream.
Besties forever.
Bro, I got completely distracted from the fucking video. So this guy walks up to me and he says, Asmon. I'm like, what's up? He's like, it's me. And I said, who? He says, it's Tiger Panda.
The fuck is this?
Come on, man.
What the fuck is this, dude?
Yes, man.
What's up, dude? It's crazy to meet you, man. This is like that meme where it's my dad and his best friend met after playing years with Xbox, you know?
Bro, this was such a good day. I'm trying to I'm kind of like getting nostalgic now watching. Okay, finally, okay, all right. Yes, this is a very good time. Let's see here.
Sponsored by MSI.
This stuff right here. So this is the convention. This is the point I was making. This is the stuff that they're talking about in the video, right? Places like this.
Yeah, congratulations, man. Trainwrecks TV, MSI sponsored. Twitch.tv/TrainwrecksTV, MSI sponsored. Here we go. How are you doing? Look, it's Pterodactyl. Patero.
For the win.
For the win, yep. She's sponsored Optic Gaming now.
Oh my god.
Optic Gaming, look at that, dude. Holy shit, we have...
Jesus Christ. Anyway, fuck, man. So this is what he's talking about with the conventions. Obviously, I totally fucking, like, I completely went off the rails here, but these are the art stations that he's talking about. When was this again? This came out June 3rd, 2018. Damn. Isn't that crazy? What the fuck? 10 years ago. Why buy them? Can't you Google a picture on a computer? Oh, it's for a print to put on in your house.
in conventions, and then they can just
yeah,
display all
places
their
like that.
merchandise and sell them. And they tend to be merchandise for very popular intellectual properties, like, you know, something that's really popular. There's like Genshin Impact, of course. This video about Genshin Impact. I'm trying to think about some other stuff. I don't know, like Attack on Titan, Naruto, Bleach. Okay, Bleach hasn't been popular for a while now, but it's still got its fan base. Originally, this discussion was sparked by a question by Haryana, who asked, opinions about Comic-Cons, anime conventions, artist alleys, conventions in general that will leave you like this. And it's just a meme of Patrick in chains. I don't know how long this meme has been around for. I don't really pay attention to this stuff, but
it's a good meme.
It seems like it just came out of nowhere, and it's being... This format has...
I like memes. The reason why I like this meme is because it gives the individual the ability to express their own creativity. The worst memes are always the ones that are just like say the thing whenever they say the thing, like Marco Polo type things, right? Like Harambe was the worst kind of meme. But at least these are like, each person can add in their own insight and context to it, you know?
Being used for a while now. I probably just didn't pay attention to it. It's probably been like 10 years since this was a thing. But that's not the point. The point is that one of the answers to this question is by Akeura Jitsukasa, who said, Genshin Impact merchandise overtaking a majority of the artist alley has sapped away a lot of the excitement and charm of browsing through the booths. And this received a lot of traction and got 36,000 likes.
36,000. Oh
yeah,
my god.
that's basically what the whole discussion has been around.
Maybe they'll have to replace it with Honkai Star Rail.
Which is the fact that Genshin Impact merchandise has seemingly become so dominant in conventions and cosplays and, you know, artist alleys that, like, the percentage of people who are just focusing on Genshin content is probably in the at least double digits, right? Probably the
Well, that's because the reason why people focus on the Genshin content is because people buy the stuff. Like, they wouldn't go to conventions to sell their stuff and bring stuff that doesn't sell, right? Because it'd be a waste of time. So, like, people might... I think that what people are really disliking here are the fact that, like, Genshin is popular.
I don't know. The low 50s or low 40s in percentage. And one of the primary responses to this...
He ain't wrong, though. I'm tired of Gen shit. Is that right?
Which I personally resonate a lot with, is this tweet by Enzume and a whole bunch of other people, which is that I get it. But at the same time, no other franchise has came out and signaled to you, you are free to make merchandise out of our work. We don't mind it. We actually encourage it like Hoyo did. So
that's actually a very good point, right? Because obviously, you know, you can use their stuff the same as they use Nintendo stuff to make Genshin Impact. And yeah, I think that's a good thing. And obviously, that's the reason why a lot of people are going to try to make money off of it.
So,
well, I mean, compare that to Nintendo, for example.
Something that a lot of Hoyoverse fans who are not content creators probably don't realize is that Hoyoverse is actually relatively very free and lax when it comes to using their content for producing, you know, fan content and just content creation in general, which includes, you know, YouTube videos. Yeah. As somebody else said later on, Unreal Dreamer says, same applies to content. Hoyoverse is one of the few companies that has almost 99% copyright-free policy of their games, videos, as well as music. Most others, we risk DMCA in some way, shape, or form. A big reason for this is they in-house create almost everything. And there are a couple of exceptions to this that I will talk about later on. But essentially, what everybody here is saying...
Yeah, what they're saying is that why do you see so much Genshin Impact content? It's because people are able to freely monetize it without worry of getting shut down. I think that actually makes a lot of sense.
Oh, Armor says something similar. What made
it's like if you draw Mario with a green nose, Nintendo will put you in jail.
The reason why you see a lot of Genshin fan merch is because MiHoYo allows and encourages it, and most other companies don't allow it or limits it. Examples, Baldur's Gate, Cookie Run, most Magical Girl anime.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because I think, if I remember correctly, Baldur's Gate is... Baldur's Gate characters are owned by Wizards of the Coast, which is the same people who do Magic of the Gathering, I believe. So this isn't associating Larian Studios with stifling fan merch. I don't know.
No, and in fact, actually, a guy from Larian's actually making, they're making clothing for Baldur's Gate even now, right? So it's not like it's not going to happen, but because, yeah, obviously Baldur's Gate is using licensing from Dungeons and Dragons, it becomes more complicated. Basically, the one thing that you have to understand with licensing and contracts and copyright in the U.S. is that there are a lot of lawyers and they make a lot of money. Do you think they'd be able to make this kind of money if it was simple? No.
Any of this is true, but from what I've heard in the past is that, yeah, Baldur's Gate is based off like a tabletop game like Dungeons and Dragons, and that's owned by Wizards of the Coast or something. There was like this whole kerfuffle a few months ago, I believe, that Wizards of the Coast was trying to monetize Dungeons and Dragons too much and people were leaving the franchise. And Cookie Run, I believe, is a Korean game, so I'm not sure what the...
Which they walked all of that back, by the way.
Copyright laws are like in Korea. Most Magical Girl anime are produced in Japan, and Japan has like some of the most draconian copyright laws of all time.
Yep.
I think a couple of weeks ago there was news that some guy who was streaming a Type Moon visual novel was sent to jail because it was against the law there.
That's right.
For like, what, 2 to 5 years? I don't know.
That's right.
It might just be a rumor. It might be real. I'm not totally sure because I didn't pay too much attention to it, but it makes sense because I mean, not for that, but for Magical Girl anime, it makes sense because a lot of the revenue that comes to like the companies that make anime is not actually from the anime itself. It's probably really hard to monetize anime, but it comes from the revenue that they get is from the merchandise. Probably licensing out the
stupid little figurines. You know, they have figurines now that have like squishy boobs that you can touch. I didn't even know this was a thing, but it is a thing. Yeah, I recently learned that. Did you do your research? I feel like it was, the information was kind of, I just kind of stumbled on it.
Intellectual property
it just kind of happened
to other companies to make merchandise for it. For example, like, not manga. I don't know how many people buy manga anymore, but like figurines of magical girls.
Yeah, there you go.
Using the likeness of magical girls on like school backpacks and some shit like that. This is probably completely out of date. I don't know if anybody does that for school backpacks anymore, but that's just something I heard like 8 to 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So don't quote me on that.
So
but there's more here. Here's somebody screenshotting what Genshin Impact officials said themselves, like 2 years ago now, almost 2 years ago. Travelers are free to create original secondary content from already published content of the Genshin Impact series and produce physical merchandise to give away or sell.
Wow.
However, the production of physical merchandise is subject to the following conditions, and it doesn't say what it is here, but from what I heard personally,
it's probably like not porn and like maybe one other thing.
Off the top of my head, there are a couple of exceptions and restrictions, and one of those is that you can't make more than 200 items of the same batch of content. So if you're making like t-shirts, you can't just make 200 to 300 t-shirts and sell it all in one go. One batch of content of merchandise has to be only 200 items. And the reason why they do this is probably they don't want like big companies to just...
Yeah, they don't want to make an industry around it. Yeah.
Profit off Genshin Impact without paying any due to Genshin Impact and Hoyoverse.
Yeah, that's actually kind of smart. You know, it's like, yeah, they don't want to have a big company that's like making a lot of money off of it. But if like a smaller content creator or an individual wants to do it, they don't want to invest their time into stopping it from happening. It's just not logical for them to do. Yeah, it's actually a 5-head decision.
So they don't want like Alibaba. Well, actually, Alibaba is probably not the best example because I think Alibaba is run by like a whole bunch of little stores. But they don't want big companies that are not Hoyoverse themselves to just make like a bajillion products for Genshin Impact. They want the little content creators to profit off of their work themselves. So that's why they have that restriction. You also can't use the likeness of Genshin Impact characters or just Hoyoverse characters in general and make them say stuff that they didn't actually say in the game. You can't use them for like VTubing. Although from what I've heard, that role has been more lax in the recent past. And some people have done that and gone away with it. You don't quote me on that as well, but that's just what I've heard. And I think some of the music that are in Genshin Impact, like the Chinese opera music for Yingjing, is also copyrighted because that's not actually created in-house by Hoyoverse themselves. They contracted that out to some other like company.
This is again what I was saying about the licensing for this kind of stuff being super fucking complicated and super annoying.
And they have a copyright on that. So if you use that music on YouTube, you will get copyright striked. From what I've heard, once again. So yeah, this is just another tweet by Citron Cynic who says, Hoyoverse encourages and respects fan merch. If I produce 200 Genshin charms, again, that's probably related to what I said about the restriction about having only 200 items per batch.
Yeah, this person's saying what I
Genshin charms and 10 Genshin charms related to a niche fandom I love. So no. 200 Genshin charms versus 10 charms related to niche fandom I love. I will sell 200 Genshin charms and maybe 2 niche charms if I'm lucky. So this is just...
Yeah, there you go. It's because people like Genshin Impact. Like, this always happens whenever anything is popular, is that there are people that don't like the thing that's popular, and they think that they're the main character, right? Obviously, they're the main character. So they think that it's stupid that it's so popular. This happens with, like, Minecraft. It happened with Fortnite. It happens with everything.
Besides... You know, at the end of the day, these artist booths, I think that's what these artist alleys are at the end of the day about, you know, independent artists.
This is a commercial business.
I think, just making money. And there are some more tweets about this that kind of emphasize this. For example, here's somebody saying,
Genshin, original, other fan art. I don't feel like there's that much of it. That's fine.
It always bugs me when people get upset about upset about all the merchandise.
Merch of pop. Yeah, it's like, why aren't you making merch of my popular niche anime? Why is my waifu not on a t-shirt? What, is she not good enough for you?
Popular stuff, because it really does come down to
so
many people would love to make niche merchandise, but it doesn't sell. Like, it's not some big moral decision of selling stuff, selling out. It's just numbers, and artists need income.
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
If people want, Genshin merchandise, what exactly are these artists supposed to do? And here's another tweet saying, anyways, I'll shut up about this. It's just very personal because we constantly get it's all Genshin comments when this is our booth.
This is the same as, like, people ask me, dude, you don't play any video games anymore. And then, like, you look at my stream, and it's like the majority of the time I played a video game. But, like, if you actually look at their comment history, they are commenting on, like, 5 different World of Warcraft subreddits, and they're mad that I'm not playing their video game. That's what it's all about.
Have a lot of other fan art, but no one ever bought it, so I had to get rid of it. Yeah, so this seems to be like all the green stuff is non-Genshin content, and which is original content that they created themselves. There's other fan art that's not Genshin IP, and the blue stuff is Genshin Impact. So what it seems to me like Genshin content is maybe like 20% of this booth, but all the other stuff just didn't sell, so they got rid of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, no shit.
Well, not really, unfortunately. Like, they're just catering to the market, right?
Yeah, people are mad that that there's a market for a thing that they're not fans of. People are just so self-centered.
This is kind of interesting to me because I thought for a second, Genshin Impact is like not as popular as it once used to be, right? If you look at Google Trends, Genshin Impact.
Damn, bro, Honkai Star Rail is falling off. They need to sponsor me more. Like, yeah, they'll sponsor. Like, tomorrow, if I play the game, I'll autoplay the simulated Swarm 5. I'll autoplay it, and maybe that'll get people to play again.
The height of Genshin Impact for Fontaine so far is an interest rating of 64, which is relative to the maximum rating of 100, depending on 100 is when it first launched, and then for Inazuma, the interest rating was 67. Fontaine was 64, and Sumeru was 71 to 72. Yeah. So Fontaine is the least popular. I don't know how to say this. Genshin Impact is at its least popular since a new region has launched in Fontaine. Not to say that Fontaine is the least popular region.
So should I start playing Genshin Impact to save the game, so it doesn't die? Like, do I have to play it to save the game? But what if I come back and I play the game and there's so much meme content about it, and like there's such an influx of 34-year-old men that are balding that it scares away all of the femboys and the game dies? Because I can imagine, like, all the fedora wearing, like, these guys they'll be, oh, there's Asmongold, what's up, man, big dick. It's like, this is a guy, it's like, just like shorts on, fucking baseball cap. He's got sunglasses, like, oh, what's up, man, bro, I love your videos. And, like, all these, like, fucking these, like, girls, like, femboys, like, oh, no, I don't want to deal with that, it's scary. Yeah, Tectone, exactly, yeah. Bro. Yeah, scare them all away.
And relative to how many people are still interested in Genshin Impact, it's just that as an older game that is, 3 years old now, it's not as popular as it once used to be. But apparently that has not, people who are going to these...
contextualize that around the fact that Genshin popped off during COVID. I don't even know if that's entirely true.
Artist alleys have not gone they haven't been clued in on that yet. It doesn't seem like this has any effect on artist conventions or, just conventions in general. Here's another tweet by Chunyo. This is why I always try to make different merchandise from different fandoms, but the reality is that I sell the 90% more of Genshin and others just...
Damn, bro. Like, what a surprise that a fan base that's conditioned around spending money on dumb shit goes to conventions and they spend money on shit. Like, who could have ever guessed this?
The others are just 10%. So 90% of their sales are for Genshin merchandise, and only 10% is other stuff. Hime Joshi Devil says, do people not understand artist alleys are for money? Like, they're one of the few opportunities artists have to make.
This is the same as like people like streamers are like, I can't believe every streamer's playing this game. Well, yeah, because it gets them a lot of viewers and they make more money. Because they do it for a job. Most streamers would, like, actually, I don't know. I think a lot of streamers, like, for example, I think that Soda Poppin', XQC, Trainwrecks, S-Fand, me, those are the top 5 I can think of right off the top of my head. We would stream if we made no money. Literally $0, we would still stream. Now, we probably wouldn't stream as much. We wouldn't have time. We'd have to have a fucking job, right? But, like, we would still stream.
Decent money off their work, and they cost a shit ton to.
I still play the lottery. I'm trying to quit. Oh, there's Nick. What's up, Nick? Hey. Well, you'll win next time. Hey, yo, just remember, you only quit. You only lose when you quit.
Booth. So yeah, it takes money to actually rent the booth out. So they have to pay money for them to be there because there's limited space.
Yeah.
Of course,
yeah, you pay for the space. It's like, for example, like if you buy like ad space on a website, you pay for that ad space. It's the same thing as in a convention. They buy the big box, then you buy the small box.
Selling popular things, there's no difference between Genshin than past Attack on Titans. I think that's what AOT is. I'm not too sure, but
it's gotta be.
Luna Silveria 29 says it's nothing new. If it wasn't Genshin, it would be other popular title. Last local con I visited was flooded with Attack on Titan merchandise.
Because Attack on Titan is fucking massive. Like, I remember whenever, like, the first ever convention I went to, this was like 2008 or 2009. Do you know what it was full of? Inuyasha and Full Metal Alchemist. It was everywhere. It's fucking huge. And yeah, it was Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. You know why? It's because people love that shit.
Interesting as well, because I assume that Attack on Titan has fallen off a bit in terms of popularity as well. There was like a time when everybody was...
Well, yeah, didn't they end it 7 times? I mean, like, I feel like at a certain point, people were like, okay, so like what's going on here?
Like the most hype about Attack on Titan, I think this was actually when I was going to university for
I watched the
first
I
was just in university at the time.
I thought
it was
taking
good. Japanese language class, and I called it Kyojin no Kyokai or something, the Japanese name for Attack on Titan, and then some other guy beside me was like, no, it's called Attack on Titan, and I had a whole argument about that. That actually wasn't that long ago. That was like 3, 4, 5 years ago. So that just shows you just how popular Attack on Titan was back then.
Really
it's fallen off a bit now, and one day Genshin Impact will fall off as well.
Yeah.
So it's just Genshin Impact has had a lot of...
How long has Fate Grand Order been around? $7 years? Jesus. Yeah, and I mean, like, they're still doing pretty well. Fate itself is ancient. Yeah, I mean, so I don't know if Genshin's gonna fall off, man. It's hard to say.
Power. Even though I'm saying that Genshin Impact has fallen off relative to how popular it was in the past, it's not
COVID, man. Dude, it's so much about COVID with that. Like, COVID was so big. COVID was better than any expansion a game has ever had.
That much less popular, right? 64 versus
a big expansion.
68 versus like 71 is not that big of a difference. The actual second patch for the Fontaine patch cycle has had more of a drop off compared to other patch cycles. But again, I don't think this is going to be that much, especially when you compare it to Inazuma, because Inazuma had a very large drop off after the Archon quest, and I don't think that is going to happen for Fontaine. They've discovered that lengthening the Archon quest actually is pretty beneficial to retaining the player base, because all the player base wants to get Archon, right?
Well, that's the problem that Honkai Star Rail has, is there's nothing to fucking do in the game. Like, there's just nothing to do in the game. That's the issue. Because people want to play... Like, how many of you guys that played Honkai Star Rail, you want to play the game, but it's like there's nothing to do. Like, what do I do? Do I just run around? Do I just sit and, like, you know, do laps in, like, some area, right? So it's like, yeah, to try a swarm. But yeah, well, they added that, and that was great. They did add that. That was a massive amount of thing to do. But, like, with Genshin, there's, like, all of these little boxes, all of these little puzzles, all of these little bits of bullshit that you can do. And because there are so many different types of, like, casual activities, it keeps people, like, regularly playing Genshin in a way that, like, Honkai Star Rail doesn't do.
So it's not going. I don't think overall it's going to be any less popular than Inazuma. It's just that Sumeru introduced a whole new element, and then everybody was super hyped for that. So it is what it is. Artists need easier money. Hoyo is one of those companies who are very generous with their guidelines for fan merchandise. Once again, Hoyoverse does not like screw around with content creators nearly as much as other companies. Sometimes they'll take down stuff that is technically leaks. Sometimes they'll take down just random shit.
I think that's a W. Anybody who's posting leaks should be getting taken down. Yeah, I think, yeah, if you're posting leaks, you should get taken down.
And I don't know why, but I've heard cases of that happening. But in general, it's not the same thing as dealing with Nintendo. It's not the same as dealing with like Japanese companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, Musical Girl Art says, I'm so tired of these takes because I have been attending cons as a visitor and as an artist for the last 5 years, and I can assure you that this has always happened with other fandoms. Attack on Titan, Sword Art Online,
My Hero Academia,
Persona 5, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Kimetsu no Yaiba. It's just that Genshin is still there after 2+ years. Yeah, I'm astounded by this. This actually makes me quite happy because I am, at the end of the day, a Genshin fan, right? And it does make me feel happy that Genshin is still popular after all this time.
I mean, there are a lot of people that have invested over $1,000 into Genshin Impact. They've spent $1,000, and they don't want that $1,000 to peepo poof whenever nobody cares about the game anymore. I dropped 8K and I quit. Hundreds of thousands. I've only spent $600. My friend spent $4,000. Dick Tone spent $500,000. $500. I dropped over $1,000. I dropped 2.5K. That's crazy.
And even compared to other like Western franchises, I don't think other franchises were this popular, even like the major ones like World of Warcraft, after this much time, because World of Warcraft fell off after Wrath of the Lich King, right? And that was
not accurate. Obviously, like like WoW was popular until like WoD. Like I'd say Mists of Pandaria, maybe. Like I'd say like Cataclysm. Even Cataclysm was really popular.
Second expansion, I believe, for that game.
It was like
and then
6
after
years.
that, it was Cataclysm, when people just kind of stopped giving a shit. So relative to the popularity of World of Warcraft in terms of its lifespan, I think Genshin Impact has already exceeded the amount of influence that game has had, which is crazy. If you
not even remotely close. Okay. This is World of Warcraft. This is Genshin Impact. This is over the past day. I don't think people realize how big WoW was. It was disgustingly huge. It was like not even a question. So he was right after Wrath was its decline. Well, like WoW, it was popular for like from like 2000, let's say 2004, right? To 2010. That's like 5 years. He said 2 years. Genshin's been popular 2 years. WoW was like massive for at least 5 years. And you could argue probably like 7. I'm just saying that like World of Warcraft was enormous.
If you think about it. Cute Pancake says, literally like before the Genshin Wave artist booths at cons would have way more variety, and I completely understand artists have to make money, but knowing I won't really find much outside of huge popular franchises really takes away from the experience. And I like this because I do agree with this. I don't really go outside that much anymore, so I don't have an actual physical experience of this. But when I used to, Like it goes.
Wait, did he just say? I don't go outside, but I like that other people do. Wait a minute.
I won't really find much outside of huge popular franchises really takes away from the experience. And I like this because I do agree with this. I don't really go outside that much anymore, so I don't have an actual physical experience of this. But
my man, that's a smart dude. Yeah, there you go. Just stay inside, bro. Like, bad shit could happen whenever you're out of the house.
When I used to go to stuff that is like focused around anime conventions and stuff like that.
Oh my god.
It did kind of bother me that there were so many people who were into One Piece and like Naruto.
What the dude? Like, One Piece is huge. Naruto, I don't like Naruto. Yeah, I don't really think it's that great. But like, yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean I don't want to see the art of it, right? It's whatever. I'm just not like a huge fan. That's all. I don't think it's that great. It's just whatever.
And that's kind of stuff. And it's not because I don't like those franchises. I do like One Piece, although I'm not like the biggest One Piece fan. Although I'm not like the biggest Naruto fan anymore. I think Naruto kind of fell off after Shippuden. But I was a fan of those series, a big fan of those series. And it still kind of bothered me that like 90% of the content that I saw was about Naruto and One Piece. And when you ever talk about manga and anime, it was just like One Piece and Naruto all the fucking time.
Yeah.
So this is a legitimate feeling that, you can't really explain. It's just, if you see too much of the same stuff, eventually you get...
The thing is, like, people who aren't fans of it totally have every right to say, I wish that there was more stuff that I wanted at the convention. Like, it's totally fine to express, like, disappointment, but, like, it's just silly to act like, oh, well, they shouldn't be doing this. They should be uploading, like... It's fine to feel a certain way, but it's not fine to think that the way that you feel should dictate how other people should act.
Bored of it, you do get annoyed that everybody only likes that one thing. I'm so tired of every con being Genshin Con by El Rakir. They also say, I went to Toronto Comic Con.
Fur cons have several Genshin booths, and it's embarrassing. Gentlemen, it's been confirmed. Everybody thought it, and now we know. We all knew, and now there's proof. Venn diagram time? You mean one circle?
Half the booths were Genshin booths. Like, man, nothing is safe. I don't know when this was, but if this was in... I'm not from Toronto. I'm in the Vancouver area, so I've never been...
Oh, there's somebody here. Let me read this real quick. Generic Live. Artist Alley is super toxic. I've had other artists get mad because they said I was undercutting their art prices, but in reality, it was just that my art was correctly priced for its quality and theirs was overpriced. Generic Live. Yeah, I fucking believe that. By the way, Generic Live, you're the ones that did the dwarf thing. The World of Warcraft dwarf thing. I remember. And yes, of course that's what they do. Yeah, because they want to sell their t-shirt for $35, and you're like, hey, yeah, that's us. That's what I thought. And yeah, they want to sell their shirt for $35, and you're like, nah, this is a $20 shirt. And they're like, oh, hold up, right? I mean, what are you trying to do? Undercut us here? Yeah, exactly. No, I bet that's 100% what it is.
Into Toronto,
people hate
Toronto
competition,
but if this was in the recent past, then that has me... I don't know how to feel about this. Like, Genshin Impact is just, like, so popular, even now.
Yeah.
Then I don't know what to say. It actually... I don't want to know what to say about this. For me, personally, I honestly felt like Genshin was falling off.
I like how the person going to FurCons thought Genshin booths were the most embarrassing thing at the FurCon. Really puts it into perspective, doesn't it? Really kind of zeroes in. Damn.
And I would have suspected that there was less cosplay and less booths for Genshin, but it seems like that's not the case. Everybody's still really... They haven't been including that Genshin is falling off. Maybe that's just what I was thinking. Who knows?
Yeah.
Jolly Rose Art says, there is actually enough other stuff if you take your time to look, but I've seen people say, oh, everything is Genshin. I'm leaving, only seeing
this is just, dude, this is just like streams, man. all you ever do is you play this one game. You never play my game, and you don't talk about the things I want you. Why don't you react to this video? You used to do the things that I like, and now you don't. I don't like you anymore. Why aren't you playing my game? Bro, I hate you.
Mention things, get annoyed, and totally ignore the other stuff, which is the majority of my assortment. Yeah, this is another. It's like it's confirmation bias, basically. If you see Genshin merchandise and if you don't like Genshin, then you're just going to focus on that one thing and then ignore everything else.
Yeah.
I've been guilty about this in the past with other franchises. If I just see if like 50% of your booth or 50 or plus more percent of your content is surrounding this one thing, and I don't like that thing, then obviously I'm not going to feel that motivated to look at your stuff.
Yeah, of course. Naturally.
I don't think this is anything that can be fixed. It's just pointing out that this might be confirmation bias.
Yeah, what do you want, a Genshin Impact quota?
Ingver says, as obviously who's been going to the cons for over a decade now, I think it's obvious how much Genshin has taken over more than any other franchise ever has, and it's made it harder to find other things. I don't know if this is true, again, because I don't really go outside anymore. It sounds so shitty to say this, but I don't have like an actual physical experience of being around that many like Genshin fans, if any at all.
God.
But the other stuff is still there and not necessarily less of it than before. So can you guys tell me if it's still like that? How many of you guys still go?
I don't go outside anymore either. The last convention I went to was in like 2019.
To like Genshin conventions or conventions in general, and are they still just full of Genshin stuff, like even after all these years? Because I think I might be in a sort of bubble.
Yeah, is that true? Like for those of you guys that have been to conventions, like is it full of Genshin shit or what? Yes. There it is. Most people are saying yes. The Blue Archive as well. Wow.
Just listen and consume content from other Genshin content creators through YouTube and through Twitch, where every 5 minutes somebody is talking about how Genshin Impact is falling off, how they're not adding to the game, how Genshin Impact is not as fun as it once was, how they've abandoned the core game combat system to make the game a visual novel. So it's pretty negative. It's not like all the content creators right now are not like extremely negative, but there's just sort of this ambient negativity all over the place where we know that Genshin is not as popular as it once was, but it's still going strong enough that we're still focusing on the game. And we kind of have to acknowledge that, yeah, it's still popular, but it's not what a lot of us want it to be. I'm not saying...
Bro, this got really serious really fast. Oh my god.
This for me particularly, but if you've been looking around at other content creators, especially the most popular ones, it is something that gets mentioned pretty much every 5 to 10 minutes. So yeah, that's basically what everybody has been talking about for Genshin Impact on Twitter. There's like 230,000 posts about Genshin trending at this point, and that was just in the past 1 or 2 days.
Well, remember what I did? Look at this. I made a tweet, and all it said was Genshin Impact. And it got 21,000 likes. And this is in 2022. Genshin is fucking massive on Twitter. It is huge.
I'm not sure if all of this is about this one subject in particular, but this is something I'm personally interested in, so that's why I'm reporting it. Anyways, this is BenchGamer signing out. I will see you guys next time.
Well, there it is. Somebody wanted me to watch this video, and I think that really, the guy brings up a good point. I feel like, this guy only has 800 subs. Like, I think this is a pretty decent video for, like, an 800 sub channel. He just talking about something. Like, this actually, like, yeah, he had it planned out. Like, this is better than a lot of other people. So, yeah, there's the video. Make sure to give it a like if you guys liked it. I think he brought up some good points, and just overall, I agree with them. Reason why Genshin is popular at conventions is because people buy it. What a fucking surprise. Who could have ever guessed that the reason why people put things up to sell them is that they want them to sell? Wow. Fucking phenomenal. And it's like, some people don't see it that way. They don't. They only think about themselves. And that's the problem. It's because Genshin taps into the weeb market. A lot of weebs aren't normally gamers, but for 2D women, they are. Well, the thing is with Genshin is that they're 3D, and that's what's exciting. Right? Is that you can actually move them around and like make them, you know, like jump up and down or climb up a wall and stuff like that. Body pillows for life? Yeah, clearly. And what's this here? Most people that play games watch anime? Yeah, but I know what they're saying, right? I mean, that's kind of what they're getting at. Genshin Impact ruined conventions. Yeah, I think that the entire idea of it is just ridiculous. Of course, Genshin Impact did not ruin conventions, but at the same time, I can see people that aren't fans of it being annoyed that so many other people are.